Alright, so let me see what these charts are looking like. See what this market is looking like right now. See who else is on there. What's up, Jeff? All right. Let me see. This is boom. Do that. All right. Cool. All right. I think I'm settled now. So what's going on, people? What is going on? It's almost 2 o'clock. I kind of missed the majority of the day so far. Haven't been on the charts at all, but that's all right. That is all right. What's the charts looking like? Everything good, man. Everything is good. You know, I'm over here trying to jack somebody's internet. As I'm out here running around. Internet is sketchy right in this exact spot where I'm at. 1 second I got it, another second it's gone. But it is what it is. I'll deal with it. Yeah, so let me see what's going on in the group. I don't see anyone talking about the MRMH, the Almighty. Don't see any talk of that, so we're just still in observation mode. Still in observation mode. Let me see. Yes, definitely still observation mode. All right. Are you doing at the money strategies on the 5 minute? No. No, I am not. I did take the time to actually create a video series. One of the series, the first one that I did, where I actually built framework to trade at the money, because we actually don't trade at the money in my group. So I took it upon myself to just demonstrate the skill that's required in order to trade that way. And I actually built framework just in case I was going to teach it, but I'm not going to teach it. So I did that video series, and then I followed it up with another video series where I traded for like 48 hours, mainly just to see where I could take $100. So, you know, it took like $100 to like $1,700 or something like that in less than 48 hours, just doing at the money. But at the money is very, it requires so much more than what we actually do. So I would never interrupt what we're doing, which is much easier to do, and try to replace it or even add on something that requires way more. It's not necessary. Totally not necessary. So I dismissed the idea of even offering or teaching that approach. At the money is very difficult, and that's really what I wanted to I wanted people to get out of the video series that I created, showing those trades. What's happening, Nick? Yeah, I was really hoping that people would get that out of it, but a lot of people, instead of getting that out of it right away, they were hoping that I was going to teach it. And I'm like, well, look at how the market looks though when I'm in those trades. And the only way really to benefit from at the money is to, for one, get a full one-to-one risk reward on the trade. And in order to do that, you have to get pricing to be just right on the option. And then in addition to that, when you take the trade, you have to hold the trade until the actual option expires. So that means you got to hold trade until the end, and you have to be correct about where the price is going to end relative to your strike price. First off, most people are not holding that trade until the end, because once you see any amount of profit, you want to take it off the table. So I knew that people would be doing that also. But when you do that, it throws off and it creates an imbalance, because now you're not going to end up with a true one-to-one risk reward on your trades. You know what I mean? Like if you trade and let's say you take $20 off the table. You're taking $20 off the table when you should have been earning 50. And you keep doing that, but then when you lose a trade, you lose 50. And that's assuming that you get a full one-to-one risk reward on your trades. It's not even. It's not an even playing field when you do it that way. And that's how most people will do it, because there's no way that people will sit there, be in profit by $20 or $30, let the market move against them, and then they're in the negative by $20 or $30, and then wait for it to come back to be back in profit again, or even ultimately wait for that option to expire in order to get the full amount. No one is going to do that. So I realized that when I actually took the time to build that framework and go through the process. Nobody's doing that. So no, that's definitely not something I'm going to offer at all. And I really don't encourage anybody to try to trade that way, because it's much easier to just, you know, like the framework that we use on TeamAlliance. It's much easier. Much easier. I'm all about trying to be stress-free. I don't want to be stressed out. And I don't understand why people would rather put themselves in a stressed out position because they're chasing a better risk reward on the trade. It doesn't make any sense. When in the end, you're really not even getting better risk reward on the trade. What you're getting is your perception of a better risk reward. But that's not really what ends up happening. And people find out this for themselves anyway. Like anybody that goes that route and tries to trade at the money consistently, they end up seeing what it is. Like I don't even have to tell them. They see what it is for themselves. That's why they were hoping that I was going to teach it, but I'm not. I'm not teaching that. We don't need that. Nope. Don't need it at all. Let me see something. Market is doing a lot right now. It got a lot going on right now. I don't know if it's been moving like this throughout the day, but the way it's moving right now, ain't nothing there, bro. Definitely ain't nothing there for us. Oh, come on, keep losing this internet, man. Nick says no MRMH today so far. May not get it. That is the awe of the market. It's so funny because I've done that like in the past. I used to look at the market and be like, all right, I don't think I'm gonna get a trade today. You know, I don't think anything is gonna happen today. And market decides to switch up, ends up giving us what we need, and we end up getting a bunch of trades that same day, where I was looking at the market all day and it wasn't looking right, and then it just decides to switch up and start looking right, and then our trades come. So market just does what it wants. I've really learned personally how to just accept everything that the market presents without bias. You know, like when I look at the market now, I look at it so objectively, I don't even have an expectation anymore. Because I don't even want to get like my hopes up high thinking that something's going to happen and then nothing happens. Or even on the contrary. You know, you thinking that nothing is going to go on and then trades come. So I've learned to just go with the flow of the market and let the market decide what it's going to be. And that's it's a very comfortable place to be, because you don't have to do anything. Like all your job is so easy. You just observe, and if the market is outside of what we wait for, we don't do anything. We take 0 trades. If the market positions itself, we all see it and we know it. So once it's in position, we get what we need, and then after we get what we need, we get the follow through, and then those are our trades. So that's a beautiful thing. I love that. I love that. That is something that is so reliable. And then any other time, you know, if the market ain't giving it up, you know that the market ain't giving it up. So that's also empowering, because it means that you know how to keep your money in your account. You know how not to give your money away when you're not sure about the market environment. That's what most people lack. The majority of people lack the ability to do that. They always want to trade. They feel like that they're supposed to be taking trades all the time. So that's what they do. They trade all the time, regardless of what the market is doing. Nah, man. It's only a matter of time before that catches up to you. And, you know, if you end up taking a loss, you're going to revenge trade. You're going to just do all of the negative stuff and all of the bad habitual stuff that people do. Like, you're not going to be immune to that. If you practice that, that's what you're going to do. It just is what it is. So then you said, been a slow week so far. My patience has gotten a good workout. Yep. Yes, indeed. What's today? Wednesday. We did have trades this week, though. We did have trades this week. I don't remember what day specifically. It might have been Monday. I think that we actually had some trades. Yes, exactly. So far, so good. Yep. And anytime you keep your account balance where it is, like, you got to understand, that is a lot. Not losing is a lot. And the importance of that, I don't think, is really focused on outside of TeamAlliance. We focus on that. It is super important to be able not to lose. Like, I put more emphasis on that than I do on winning trades. Because I mean, if you think about it, like, anybody really can win trades. Anybody can win trades. Winning trades is not the problem. is when people be losing and they don't know what to do. Man, what happened to this whole thing reset on me? What is that? Like, why though? Why did it reset? Like, I can't even move it. What the heck? All right, there it is. Goodness. All right, that right there is good. That should be good right there. All right. Seems like the market is attempting to slow down a little bit. Looks like it's making an attempt to slow. Gemini, what's happening? So in the last few trainings that we've been doing, been really focusing on MRMH because that's really all you need to do is focus on that. You focus on that, you won't make any mistakes. Like literally, I know that people are often concerned about whether they're doing it right or, you know, whether they're looking at the market the right way. The mistakes that people make are simply not adhering to the discipline of not doing anything until the market gives us trades. That's what goes on. That is what goes on. Let me see who came in here. I see a couple people came in. I see Calvin. I see Food Fitness Motivation. What's happening, y'all? Yeah, the market still got some spurt in it. Sure does. I see Ruth. What's happening, Ruth? Nick said the pound usually slows down around 230 to 4. Historically, yes, it has a tendency to slow. One of the reasons that it becomes difficult to kind of box in the market to a specific time of the day that it does certain things is because it chooses to not do that sometimes. Matter of fact, it could just choose to not do it anymore. Like, I know there was, I'm trying to think back to what year it might have been. This was years ago when I first began doing Forex. Ooh, look at that behavior. That behavior is yucky. Woo. Market giving out 10-second slaps. Oof. That's painful right there. Somebody playing around with this market. But I remember when the market used to be very predictable, like relative to what people see now. Now, because there's so much that's involved with all of these different markets and so much that's constantly going on, like country to country, you know, the way that the markets move are very chaotic in a lot of people's eyes, and it's so beyond what they're used to. Like there were years that went by where certain markets just trended, like for extended periods of time. It would just trend in one direction. Pullbacks, all the pullback meant was that you could buy or sell, depending on which direction the actual trend was. But I remember years where the market was just trending. Like this was during like the stock market bubble, the tech bubble, where the technology companies were just going up because everybody was buying tech. Like you had mutual funds, pensions, you know, all of the funds that had large sums of money that could move markets. They were creating mutual funds just to buy technology stocks. That's how crazy that bubble was at the time. And they were just buying up tech stocks. So the tech bubble became so inflated. And this was like during a time, just to put it in perspective, remember when Amazon first came out and they just used to sell books? And remember how they didn't make any money yet? Like they had no profits. Because all of the money that they did earn, their revenue, they were putting 100% back into the business. They just kept spending all of the money back into the business, you know, on building different parts of the business up. And they were not profitable. Like they were just not profitable, period. So during that time, if you were the regular ordinary person looking at the market, you were like, oh, damn, you know, prices of these companies just keep going up every day. And it was all technology stocks. Like it was just tech. It was tech, and then it was like new companies that fit into that bubble. They just were going up. And like I said, they were creating mutual funds, entire funds dedicated just to buy tech stocks. So it was really a crazy time. Like that was an environment in the market that I'm thinking back on, where the prices were just going in one direction and it was trending like for a while. So it was very predictable. People were making money. It was easy to make money because you're in a bubble. It's just like the real estate bubble. When the real estate bubble was inflating, everybody was making money. Because you would buy a property and the value of the property would be increasing like in 2 months. You know, your equity value. You might have purchased the property, say $250,000, and in a couple of months they do an appraisal and it's appraised at $350,000. So people were looking at, you know, that as an opportunity, like, yo, we could buy it at this price now, a couple of months from now, we'll flip it and sell it at the higher appraised value. And that's exactly what used to be going on. So once again, anytime you have opportunities like that, you'll have the markets, the financial markets get involved in that. And that's where all of those derivatives came, you know, from during that time, where they were literally creating instruments to trade on the financial markets for real estate. So when the bubble collapsed, remember they had to bail out a lot of different companies. They bailed out a lot of companies, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that because they were creating these instruments, the instruments had ownership of the deeds and the property, but by the time it transferred so many different hands, they didn't know who ended up owning the properties. So there were people that were living in their home and they might be in foreclosure, but then when they in the court and they're going through the process of it, they're trying to figure out, well, who actually owns it, because the bank don't own it. The bank sold it off to one of these companies that were creating these instruments that people were trading on the financial markets. So you trade in real estate in the financial market, and that's actually somebody's actual real property though. So somebody's living in there, you know, instead of the foreclosure just going through smoothly, it didn't. And there were people that were sitting in properties for like 5 years. They didn't have to leave because they couldn't figure out who actually owned the property. So it's just, I don't even know what led to me talking about that, but I'm just thinking back, like in times in the markets overall, of when there were just extremities, like where the market was predictable. And it's like, you know, you could kind of step in and there was opportunity to make money, and people were doing that. You know what I mean? But those are like scenarios and situations where you got to be retarded not to make money. Like a bubble. When there's a financial bubble in one of the markets, anybody can make money. So what people have a tendency to do, you know how people are. They make some money doing it, so now they think that they're good at doing it. When in reality, it's not that you're good at doing it. You're just in a market where right now it's good for everybody that's in this market. So anybody that's in this market right now can make money. And that's where like people would fall short. So when the bubble burst, now you got problems. Because now that bubble bursting represents, you know, people losing their jobs, people losing their homes. It represents a lot of stuff like in the economy overall, because it was an inflated artificial monetary bubble that was not real. It just was based on money moving in the markets. So I guess ultimately what I was kind of getting to was the fact that the markets overall, like the financial markets in general, if you always are looking at it objectively, you never put yourself in a vulnerable position where the market could punish you. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And that really applies in, you know, with what we do and how we trade. We always look at the market objectively all the time. So because we have no expectation and we know what it looks like when profits are going to be on the table for us based on our interpretation of the market, we know what that looks like. All we got to do is wait for it, and the money's going to come. And that happens and will happen at any time and in any market. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, like sometimes people will hit me up and they'll say, Mark, is right now a good time to be investing, you know, in the markets and stuff? And I'm like, well, for us, anytime is a great time to be in the market because of how we trade. Like, we're always are going to be able to make money with what we're doing. With this framework, with binaries, always going to be able to make money. There's never going to come a time where we're not going to be able to make money using binaries. And more particularly using the binaries on the NADEX platform. And that's powerful. That's powerful. Like, that is so much freedom in that. Because what it means is, like, it don't matter what's going on. You always are going to be in position to make money. All the time. And especially as you develop your discipline. Because you're not going to deviate from what you're being trained to do and the skill that you're acquiring to do anything else. You're going to know it. And like even trying to do anything else is really just a waste of time. It really is, because you got to figure stuff out. Got to figure it out. Let me see who's on here. What's up, Mr. Pruitt? I see Bruno. Let me see. I see James. Calvin said, lost several homes when the market burst. Had to start over. Yo, that's real. That is real. That's real. I mean, you got to realize it's like hot potato. You know the game hot potato? You keep throwing it. And whoever ends up with the hot potato loses. So it's like whoever ends up holding the bag is going to lose. And anytime the market is at extremities and is inside of a bubble, people think the bubble is going to last. And it ain't going to last. At some point when that bubble bursts, somebody going to be left holding that bag. In other words, someone's going to be left with all of the artificial bubble that was created. Somebody going to be left with that. And it's a sad situation a lot of times when it involves like real estate. So if you're talking about homes, that means people's losing their houses. You know, all type of stuff goes on. All type of stuff goes on. But just, you know, always kind of being ahead of the curve and remaining educated, you know, not jumping into situations and being hasty about it. You know, like I've literally had arguments, you know, like with my wife over certain types of investment properties and stuff like that she was looking at, that she was like telling me, you know, we should do it and this and that. I'm like, no, I don't like the timing of it, and I don't like to be dependent on certain things having to happen in order for us to make the money from that investment. Like that's how I always look at things. When I'm looking at any type of investment, I always look at it at the worst case first. You know what the best case is, but you can't have an expectation of the best case. What if stuff happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if things go on outside of your control and your money is in that investment and it's tied up in that investment? So that means that your blood and your sweat is in there, because now you are relying on whatever your hope is to be the case. And what if it ain't? You see what I'm saying? If it's not, and you're not prepared for that, what you put into that investment now, you could end up losing. You could definitely end up losing. A lot of time it's just because people be, you know, they'll be like kind of long-eyed. They'll be greedy when they shouldn't be. Let's see something. Plug this in. They'll be greedy when they should not be. Let me read what these comments are. Yeah, Nick said that's when 401ks get wrecked. Bingo. That exactly. See, because of 401ks are run by managers, by fund managers. So the majority of people don't even know where their money is. Like, you got money in the 401k, they'll give you whatever the option is for the 401k that your company is using. Like whatever fund company is being used. I like how this market is starting to look, actually. Let me see something. I like it's slowing down a little bit. I want to see if something come up out of this right here. This 3173 right here. See if something comes into fruition from this. Nope, you see that jerk? Jerk still there? Nope. All right, so we getting there. We getting there, but the behavior ain't right yet. It's still off. Still out of sync. But we getting there. It's looking better than it was when I first came on. That's for sure. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Stacy said I was gonna cut somebody for trying to make me miss IG. What's up, Stacy? Joel said the regular Joe gets the shaft, the banks get the bailout. Yes, exactly. You're just talking about that. How these dudes get bailed out anytime they mess up. Permanent life insurance is the way to go. 401k risky. Calvin said 30 years invested. What's up, Dimitri? Calvin, what are you talking about? 30 years. You talking about a house? Like properties? Stacy said that she's vested. You vested in what, your 401k? Okay. Calvin said yes to that question. So 30 years invested in the same property? Said his wife. So what do you mean? 30 years married? I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Both, okay. Okay, got you. So you and your wife been married for 30 years and y'all had the same house for 30 years. Right? Got you. Yeah, that's a long time to be together for one. And that's a long time to be in the same house. Medical at the job. Okay, 401k was to replace pension, but it's a scam. Yeah, because companies didn't want the responsibility of having to pay your pension. So they gave you the option through a defined benefit plan, aka a 401k, to take your money from your pay with your damn self. Some of them would match, and probably still do. I don't know how many of them match, where it even mean anything. But some of them used to have good matches. Like the job I used to work on, they had a good match. They used to match 100% up to the first 16% that you put in. And then anything beyond that, they matched up to 80%. And then it scaled down until it was whatever it was. But it was a good match. It was an excellent match. Oh, several, you said. Oh, lost several homes. Got you. Yeah, I always hate to hear that. I mean, but it's, it's not, it's something that is kind of common that took place, especially during bubbles. Like during real estate bubbles, it's happening all the time. It happens all the time. A lot of people get into real estate for the first time during the bubble, which is crazy to me. It's like anything really that you want to get into like during a bad time. It's just like how people want to get into the market when the price is up. You don't want to buy stock when it's up already. You know what I'm saying? You want to time it. You want to get stocks when it's undervalued, when it's a good it's a good business, it's a good company to invest in, and the price of the stock is lower, like it's out of favor, that's the time to get into a stock and to think long term, so that you know that once it becomes that, like the valuation comes back into the market, you can benefit from that because you'll profit. But to just ride the wave, like that's what it's like, the sheep mentality. Everybody's following each other, not knowing what they're doing. You know what I mean? So Demetri said, I got a letter from Social Security a few years ago, said there will not be enough young people working to make up for input. They suggested to invest. That's when I started to look into trading. Yo, that is crazy. That's crazy that they actually sent you a letter saying that, because we already knew that. But Stacey said she happy with her medical, she can wing the rest. And you guys are going to be fine. Like I feel bad for people that don't find, anything out there that's like TeamAlliance. Not to say that TeamAlliance is the only opportunity out there, but from what I've seen and just things that are available to people, is one of the best ones, because this is a skill that you're learning. It's not like it's a company that you're investing money in. It's a skill that you're actually learning, and a skill that you're able to acquire and to improve upon over time. Like all you gotta do is just take your time. You take your time, you're gonna be just fine. Is this thing overheating? What the hell? It seems like this is overheating. Damn. I think it is, but whatever. Joel said, we at the point now the market corrects itself 8 to 10 years. We are in currently at a high point in the housing market. So that sounds like another bubble that's about to burst. Because you know that, of course, it's cyclical. Dimitri said, haven't looked back since, and now I'm glad I found TeamAlliance. There we go. There we go. Nick said, invest in yourself. Exactly. You cannot, you can't lose like that. Like if you get some type of education or some type of skill that you can literally monetize, you are going to win. That's how you win. That is how you win. People are used to just having a tendency, I guess, to look for things out there, like to invest in. Like they looking for an investment that's gonna make them a millionaire. And it's like, nah, you like you can become a millionaire. You can become a thousandaire. You can become, 100,000aire. But you need to take your time and actually do it. Like, it ain't gonna be no magical investment that you put money in that turns into $1 million. Like, this is how people look at everything. They look at Bitcoin. They looked at Bitcoin like that. They looked at the stock market like that. Like, you're gonna just invest a couple of thousand, it's gonna turn into millions. Nah, man. Nah. You gotta figure out how is money even made in the first place. And then once you figure out a way to make money, you gotta figure out how to rinse and repeat that every time. That's how you do it. And then you keep doing it. You rinse and repeat and you keep going. But it takes time. It takes time, and you need to slow down. Like, people are, they be in such a rush to do stuff. And I'm like, well, why do you think that you're gonna be the one to do it? Like, it's millions of people out here. Ain't none of them did it. How are you gonna do it? Why you? Why are you gonna be the one that does it? And like, I don't understand that. But this is the mentality that people be having. They think that they're going to be the one that does it. All right. I'm like, it's a lot of smart people who haven't done it. But you're going to be the one that just magically does it. Okay. But that's just a human thing, you know. It's one of the same reasons why people conduct themselves like they do when they come into training with us, because it's just how people are. It is just how people are. That jerk is still there too, and it's right at the end. Woo! That thing jerking at in the last 3 seconds. Nope. Well said, invest in gold and silver every week. That's definitely something to do also. Like, all right, that right there is a good thing to do. It's like how people want to get a six-pack and get muscles, but they want to take a pill instead of just doing push-ups. You gotta do push-ups. You want a six-pack, you want to get buff, you want your arms to look right, you gotta do push-ups. You don't want to do push-ups. It's like if you want to lose weight, stop eating bread. You gotta stop eating bread. Stop eating bread and spaghetti and shit like that. You'll lose weight. But no, you want to take a pill to lose weight. You want to get liposuction. Nope. Don't work like that. And that's what keeps people in the cycle that they be in. The fact that they don't want to actually deal with the most practical way to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be practical about shit. Okay. Yep, gotta be practical. Absolutely. They said we're here because we're tired of the rat race. That's it, man. That's it. And that's one of the reasons why too, like, I stress all the time, like, to slow everything down. You know, like, people just have this rush mindset when you do everything. With everything that you do, you want to rush. You got to learn how to slow things down and be patient. And the more patient you are, the faster it comes. That's what's so crazy. As soon as you get to the point where you begin to slow things down, now stuff happens faster for you. It's so crazy. But that's not what people think out the gate that it is. But that's what it actually is. What it's not is what they're thinking it is. They're thinking that they're going to be able to come in and do it fast. Nope. And the longer that you have that perception, the longer that you're going to stay in that state. Like, whatever your circumstance is, you're going to remain there. Because you're not allowing yourself to become open to the practical things to do to make it happen. Like learning how to be patient, that's practical. That's something real that you can actually do. Learn how to be patient. This phone might cut off. It's like, it looks like it's dying. Like, and every time I try to plug it in, it's talking about it's overheating. It's fucking stupid. Alright. If this cuts off, I'll let my phone charge up. And I might come back on again. I might go on YouTube or something. YouTube or Facebook. Do another live. I am watching the charts right now. And I'm gonna probably be watching for another hour or so. So let's see what goes on here. And I also need to get some better internet, because the internet over here is just straight garbage. Let me see if they even charging up. Yeah, see, it ain't charging up or nothing. It's gonna straight die. It is gonna die. Yeah, so matter of fact, I'm gonna get off, because I don't even want it to cut off. I'll cut it off so this phone can charge up. All right, y'all. 99 Homes movie talks about the housing market. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. 99 Homes. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all in a minute.